years ago, I received a mail from the Shanghai International Film Festival. It's one of the biggest, most acclaimed film festivals. And this is 10 years ago when I was a TV actor. And I was really done. It was death by television. I had played every kind of bahu there was to play. And I was just lost. And I was just really fed up with everything. And I get this mail saying that we would like you to be an esteemed jury member on the Shanghai International Film Festival. And I really looked at and I said, no, it says Sandhya Mridul. It says to Sandhya Mridul. And I really thought it was a mistake. So I mailed them back saying, are you sure it's me, Sandhya Mridul? I'm a TV actor from India. Are you sure this mail is for me? Or is it a mistake? I can understand if it's a mistake. I won't be embarrassed. And they came back saying, no, it is you that we were mailing to. And I said, why? My second mail only said, why? And they came back saying that you are a household name in China, ma'am. And I'm like, what? I'm a TV actor in India. I live in Versova in Bombay. And they were like, no, your show is the #1 show in China for many years. And you're a very loved person in China, a very loved actor. And we'd like to have you on board. And you're also the first woman and first Indian to be invited to this jury. And the entire journey of that flight, I just kept saying, why me? Why me? Why me? And I went, and it got scarier and scarier because the chairman of the jury is on the same, same panel as me. And I'm looking at the people, and they're just acclaimed filmmakers from all over the world. And I'm just sitting there with that why me on my face. And then I said, okay, let it unfold. And I went through the jury duties, and I did really well. In fact, I did so well as a jury member, and I was so outspoken and clear, and I understood cinema, that ultimately, when our jury had to do the summation at the end of that week, I was selected to speak because I was the person who spoke every language. I spoke the neutral language. I understood everything, and I think we have to give ourselves as Indians a pat on the back. We understand everything, and we are just anywhere. We are like those worms, we just fit in anywhere. And then I did that, and I felt, okay, they chose right. I did good, and I deserve to be here. And I stopped asking why. And that trip changed something for me. I came back, and I said, okay, it's time to walk away from television. At the peak of my television career, I decided to walk away because Shanghai Festival opened the world to me. And I realized I was living in a box. I couldn't see what was out there. I could only see what I was doing. I wasn't even looking around. And this just threw everything open. And with that comes fears. And how do you step out day after day not knowing what is in store for you out there? What is it? Is it education? Is it information? Is it knowledge? Is it social media? No. It's self-belief. It's self-belief that makes you step out into the unknown. And so I came back and I said, it's time to make a change. And I walked away from television. I just knew that I had to shut this door for another one to open. Again. And I say again, because I think very few people know that before I became an actor, for the longest time I had a corporate career. I worked with KLM. I was a young maths graduate with my diploma in marketing. I was trained at Times of India, and I was a trainee in KLM, Bombay. And within my probation period, I was made supervisor for customer services. Before my probation got over, I was made manager for Bombay customer services. And before I knew what would hit me, I became manager for Western India, and then I became manager for Western and Southern India. And I didn't know what was going on. The only thing I knew is that the higher I went, the lower I felt. The better I did, the worse I felt. And I just couldn't understand why I was going through this. I just didn't know why I was being so ungrateful to everything that I was being given. And I remember one day sitting in my office, and everybody had left. And I'd just been told I'm getting a huge promotion and I might be sent out of the country. And everybody had celebrated or pretended to celebrate because most people hated me for getting that position. Most of them were men who couldn't believe that this girl who came from nowhere at 23 was going to take over and be given this position while they in their 40s were still sitting twiddling their thumbs. And everybody left, and I was sitting in office, and I started typing out a mock resignation letter saying that someday I'll resign, and what will this letter sound like? What will it be like, And I copied it to all the bosses in Amsterdam and my all India boss, and I wrote something in it, and before I knew it, I pressed send, and it was gone. A minute before that, I did not know I was going to resign then, but I resigned. I switched off the lights, walked out of office. Chaos hit the next day. I flew to Delhi. My boss was freaking out. She said, "Who's stolen you? Swiss Air, Lufthansa. What are they paying you? What are you doing?" And I said, "No, I'm leaving." She said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I don't know." She said, "What do you mean? You're the youngest manager. You people in Amsterdam know you. You're going to be one of the biggest things that's happened here in this country. What are you doing? Why are you throwing it all away? What do you plan to do?" And I said, "I don't know, ma'am. But I know that I need to leave here. I need to shut this door. Something's waiting for me out there, and it's my dream. And I need to know if I can do this." And sometimes change just happens when you give up. All you need to do is allow it and go after your dream. And that requires courage and self-belief. So I walked away. And this takes me back to my dream. I was 6 or 7 years old. My father became judge. Somebody asked me, "What do you want to be?" And I said, "Helen." It's a fact. That's all I wanted to be. I wanted to be Helen. I wanted to dance like her. I wanted to do the Vajanti Mala dance. I wanted to look like Vinod Khanna, so I cut my hair with sideburns. And I imitated Wahida Rahman and Guru Dutt, and nobody understood what was going on because all they wanted was for me to become a lawyer like my father. It was that simple. My father was an esteemed judge in the Bombay High Court. My brother is an esteemed judge in the Delhi High Court today. And that's the way they planned for me. But it was not my way. But I swear to God, I tried my best. I really tried my best, and my family knows that. And which is why I studied, and I did mathematics, and unfortunately I did very well. And then I joined Times of India, and unfortunately I did very well. And I joined KLM, and unfortunately I did very well. It was all unfortunate. And the door had to shut. And here I was. That dream. What is a dream without action? It's just that, a dream. And that action had to be taken, which is why the lack of that action found me in this predicament, sitting at that table, a maths graduate with a wonderful corporate career, just wanting to be Helen. Just that. And so I walked. Take that step. If you have a dream, it's not going to be on your resume. It's not going to be what your parents tell you. It's not always going to be what you think you should do. It's going to be somewhere inside you. And you have to pay it attention because it will catch up with you at some point. Take that step. And that step requires you to break the resistance to change and have self-belief. Even if that dream sounds stupid and fantastic, go for it. Don't think, don't worry, don't be scared. So going back to when I walked away from television, I walked away. I just dropped everything and I walked away. I finished my shows, out. Went to Disneyland, connected with my inner child, had a blast. Didn't know what I was going to do. Came back, started painting my house, living a bit, which I hadn't done for a very long time. And then serendipity. I got a call couple of days after I come back saying, "We are calling from Mani Ratnam's house." And I said, yeah, whatever, don't joke. And I put the phone down. The phone rings again, landline days. "No, this is serious. We are calling from Mani Ratnam's office, and this is a film made by Mani Ratnam and Yash Chopra." I said, "Okay, really? This is not a good joke. It's not fair." And I put the phone down. Because again, I was just a TV actor. Why are they calling me? I'm not even working. They called. I met Yash ji. He offered me the film, and I said, "Sir, mujhe picture nahi karni." He said, "Kyun?" I said, "Sir, I don't have the aptitude for cinema. I'm too blunt. People have told me I won't be good with the industry, so I don't want to do it." And he said, "But I want you in this film. At least meet my director. He's a new first-time director. Go meet him." So out of respect for Yash Chopra, I went to meet the director. Serendipity. This director turned out to be the younger brother of a friend who had given me a place to stay in Bombay when one night I was kicked out by my paying guest, landlord. She just went crazy on me one night and threw me out. And this guy's brother had taken me in and I had stayed in that house, which was Muzaffar Ali's house. And there was this boy and I said, oh my God, I'll have to do your film. It's time to pay back. I'm meant to do this. So against my will, I did Sandhya, which was a wonderful experience. And then I went on to play and then, I went on to get commercial films and I was feeling a bit lost at some point. And then I did Page 3 and Honeymoon Travels. And again, I was doing well. And then I did a gem of a little film called Vaisa Bhi Hota Hai with Arshad Warsi. And it became my favorite film. And I just wanted to do that film. And I realized it was called art cinema and there was no market for it. But I fell in love with that. And at a point where I was getting commercial offers, I said, no. I want to do this type of film. They said, but nobody is making it. I said, we'll make sure they make it. And I kept working in films like that. And I have at least 14, 15 films like that I did in the early 2000s that never saw the light of day. But I enjoyed doing them. And I did many of them for no money. But I did them because I believed in them. And I think that laid the groundwork for me standing here today. Because I knew one thing. And it's a fact that I did not know if I wanted to work for money or for fame, but I did know that I wanted to work for creativity, for respect, and for credibility. And so, what people call an out-of-work actor in this country, I call a niche actor because it has been my choice. It has been my choice to work the way I want to, in what I want to, create my own space, come what may. All the fish may swim this way, you'll find me swimming that way. I've had friends very disturbed by that lifestyle of mine, but I can't change that because I have to be honest to what I do. And like I said, there is only one tool we have in the face of all of this, in all change, in obstacles and in adversity, and that is self-belief. It's the only weapon we have against all odds, against every adversity. And know that it is yours to have. It's yours to have and yours to believe in. And speaking of adversity, I was living my dream, however hard it got at times, and I was still there. Acclaims, awards, fame. People finally knew there was a girl called Sandhya Mridul who could act. And that's all I wanted at that point. I'd made my mark. And then came the wolves. Me Too is what they call it. But all I know is there were very powerful people who had very powerful connections, who knew the industry and they knew the game. And they did not believe I fit in. They did not believe that I was obeying them. And I was not there to obey them. I was not there to fit in. I was there to do what I wanted to do without compromising on my morals, my principles, my upbringing, my body, and myself. And so I stuck with that. However hard it got, I fought and I fought and I fought, and I'm not ashamed to admit I lost and I walked away. I walked away knowing that I have some work to do, knowing that I can't change them, but I can change myself. I did not know how, but I knew that I had to change myself or change my career, and that I had failed and I had lost. And I left, a very defeated human being. And for 4 years, that's what I did. I worked on myself, physically, emotionally, mentally. I just worked on myself to find a balance. To find myself, not the narrative that they had created of me. I was lost. But there was work to do. And that's what I look forward to. The Russian playwright Anton Chekhov said something very beautiful. He said, if you want to work on your art, work on your life. And that has really changed my life because I continued to work on myself. And then came something that saved me. After 4 years, a film called Angry Indian Goddesses approached me. Pan Nalin, whose film is now going to the Oscars, the last film show, approached me. I went to meet him and he said, we chatted for a bit. And then he said, I said, so what is the story? He said, I don't know the story yet, Sandhya. It's a film of 6 or 7 women that I intend to make. I intend to tell the story of 6, 7 women. And I said, I'm in. And he said, sorry? I said, I'm in. And he said, how can you just say that? I said, anybody who wants women to be heard, I'm with. Because we need to be heard. And I don't care what your story is going to be. I'm in. And so I was the first person in on that film. And it was the best decision I made. It was the best decision I made. We went there and we realized there were women of different, all of us were different women. There was only one thing common. Not even all were actors. And I realized that they didn't even want actors. They wanted women with fires in their bellies. And not all fires were at their peak. So they worked with us to reignite those fires. They worked with us to bring us our self-expression, our voices. So they broke us every single day. And then they helped us build our truth together. To be heard, to speak freely. And we were heard. The world heard us. This film became, and it was not even a film to me, it was an experience. And then it turned out to be so big, we won international awards. Nobody in India was even allowing us. They didn't want to see us, they didn't want to hear of us. They said, 6-7 औरतें कौन देखेगा ये picture? नहीं चाहिए, नहीं चाहिए, नहीं चाहिए, नहीं चाहिए. And then we went abroad and we won the top festivals. And we came back and we finally got a release. And finally people heard us, watched us. We were bought by over 75 countries. We were dubbed in most European languages. But more than anything, women were heard, and that changed something. Angry Indian Goddesses changed cinema at that point in its small, big way. And more than anything, it gave me so much. It gave me freedom. It gave me confidence. It gave me myself back. It gave me some reality checks. But above all, it gave me myself and my expression. My self-expression, not just as an actor, but as a person. Julia Cameron, an American poet, playwright, filmmaker, said something wonderful. She said, in order to have self-expression, we must first have a self to express. And I found that self. And I was back in the game, believing in myself, believing in people, believing in art, cinema, creativity. And I hope to continue to navigate this space with grace and determination. I hope to welcome every change with courage and self-belief. I hope for everyone in this room, every student in this room, to have courage and self-belief so that we may find and create a unique and credible space for ourselves, individually. There's something that I wrote the other day which said, it's not over, even when it's over. So I'll just say to all of you, grow away. Evolution is inevitable. The only thing we have to do is enjoy it. And I'd like to end with something that I wrote. चलती रहूंगी मैं धीमे कदमों से, कभी बादलों में, कभी नदियों में, हर वो जगह जहाँ कोई नहीं चलता. चलती रहूंगी मैं, बेफिक्र, बेबाक, आसमानों में, फिर कभी उड़ जाऊंगी, चिड़ियों के साथ. उड़ती रहूंगी मैं, बेफिक्र, बेदाग.